So we are live, and my countdown didn't really work as planned, Estie, because I haven't been doing this on StreamYard for a long, long time. So it had changed the go live button. But now we are live, and I'm so excited about it. I'm so excited that I have Dr. Estie with me here today, because today is a very special session. And because when we talk about daring to start your online business or daring to start your business, we all have these challenges, we all have these fears and thoughts that are holding us back. And when we have Estie with us here, we actually get a little bit of an explanation, not only kind of like from a logical perspective, but also from a scientific perspective. And so I'm super excited to have you here, Estie. If anyone is watching this, like the replay of this, make sure you add your questions afterwards too, even if we're not live any longer, so that we can pick up on those questions. So Estie, tell us a little bit about you, who you are, and what it is that you do, and a little bit short about your journey.
So Josephine, thank you so much for having me. I'm very excited to be here today with you and talk a little bit about how we can get the entrepreneurial journey a kickstart. I think a lot of us would have liked to know these things when we got started. So my background, quite diverse, quite a thrilling journey that I had over the last couple of years, from being a medical doctor to being corporate manager to business founder to full-time mommy, and now to being an entrepreneur and helping female leaders to embrace their unique brain advantage.
And I think you just kind of captured the whole challenge all in one, because we have so many different roles and so many different hats. And when we move between these different roles, we also lose a little bit of the identity that we had in the previous role. So maybe for those of you who see me for the first time, my name is Josephine Warner, and I'm a former corporate executive, also like Dr. Estie is, and I've turned entrepreneur and business growth strategist. And I help my clients to grow on LinkedIn and also to build their first online offer. And if we go back to these kind of like different roles that we have and different challenges and different kind of like things that really hold us back, I usually talk about a little bit like golden cage that we have. We are, from the time we were small, we have heard that, or in my case, it was like that. Well, you have to do something safe so that you can pay your bills. And as a doctor, I can only imagine, because being a doctor is also something very kind of like that many people strive for to do, and a very long education to. What were your thoughts when you kind of decided to break out a little bit of that golden cage?
I think it's a great metaphor that you're using, Josephine, because exactly it. It's a cage, but it's golden because it's also good sometimes, right? Just having that stability and having that security is good. And it makes it feel good in what we do and how good we are at it. And we know that the bills are paid, no worries. And then to change that mindset, step out of that cage, open that door. And I think it's very, very hard to make that initial decision. And more so because it's emotionally hard and not feeling safe, also because our brains just resist it, right? Our brains resist change, period. From evolutionary changes, we always do things to conserve energy. We don't want to waste energy because then we need it to be warm, we need more food. So we just resist it. And when we have to break down these habits, it requires even more effort. The problem is that resistance leads to fear, right? We all know about that amygdala reaction of fight. Fight. As soon as that is triggered, it just hijacks our rational thinking completely. And we are just analysis paralysis about everything. We just refuse to take action. And I think the first thing that I want to share with everyone is don't be held back by that. Don't go into that avoidance and procrastination mode. Just step up. Break things into small little steps and just get started. I'm sure it's the same for you. Was there that one magic moment for you, Josephine, that you felt this is the first step that I'm brave enough to take into the right direction?
Well, I was a little bit kind of like I did what you shouldn't do. I handed in my resignation and started swimming immediately. But while you were talking, there was a question that, and you kind of like answered it, but maybe we can go a little bit deeper into that. Is there a way that we can kind of fool or cheat our brain into making it less scary? Because I remember the first 2 years after I had left my corporate role, it felt as if I was constantly outside of my comfort zone. And exactly like you say, it is tiring because it takes a lot of our energy too, right? So
Mhm.
is there anything that you would say, that is there anything we can do to actually change that little bit, that or speed up the process, if you want to put it like that?
Absolutely. I think we're very fortunate of having a brain superpower called neuroplasticity, right? We've all heard that term. I mean, it's a hot topic at the moment, and it's simply about our ability to form new connections in the brain. So we can very easily teach our brain or rewire our brain to be more positive and to be less fearful about things and new challenges. And we can do that by easy things like positive self-talk. Stop telling
Mm.
yourself that you can't. Use positive affirmations to grow your belief. And definitely also celebrating small wins. I mean, that's an easy thing that we can do just so we can get those feel good hormones, serotonin, dopamine running, activate your reward and motivation center in your brain, and we're going to feel a lot better. So I think the key thing is here to reframe fear as excitement. And by doing those small little activities, we can very easily change our neural connections for our brains to accept, celebrate the changes that lies ahead.
And I also think that I mean, it is a muscle that, right, when we do something for the first time or second time or third time. I remember when I was going live for the first time on LinkedIn, I was super nervous about it. But the more we do these things, the more we rehearse these things, the kind of like the less scary it becomes, right? So it's also, like you said, taking those small steps. What can I do today, like a small step? What can I do today to actually dare
Mm.
take the next step and the next step and the next step?
Mhm.
What was the first step that you took when you decided to totally change careers, one of your careers? Big one.
So I must say, in the last year, when I started thinking that I want to focus on female leadership development, it was scary because everything I did before was online and I didn't have to show up in person. So it was very safe and very easy. But then the beginning of this year, starting with the leadership development, I was looking around, not knowing where to get started, where to build a network, where to get going. And then I saw the Women's Hub having an event there in Zurich. And I think about it for a long time, and their message really resonated with me. And I just went for it. And what an amazing experience. Not only the event and meeting the people there, but everything that came from that, collaborations, building a strong network, friendships, so many things. That was the one small thing that really made me step out of my comfort zone, put myself out there once again. Because being a doctor and being in corporate, and you're there and you're visible and you're used to doing all these things, stay back, be at home for 8 years, and I can promise you it's not easy. All those things that used to be so simple to do, all of a sudden is scared. It's scary. I mean, like you say, doing a LinkedIn Live, just standing in front of people again. Used to do it all the time, no problem, never worried about it. All of a sudden, it's scary and it makes me anxious. And there it becomes very important that we believe in ourselves, that we keep telling ourselves that we can do it. And very important, I think, just to surround yourself with people who support you, who are cheering for you, and who are willing to help you be your best self, even if it's for the first or the second time or after 8 years being back in front of people again.
Oh yeah, I love that. And we actually have a couple of people live with here now we have Monica Miranda, who says her goal for 2024 was or is to do more lives and audio events. And yes, we still have 2 more months to go. So just book that live event and just do it. I mean, what's the worst thing that can happen? Not much. Well, that the tech doesn't work, but I mean, then we just do it again. Or we have Cecilia, who's here with us today too, reframing it, fear as excitement. Love that, and we'll try. And I really like that too. And one thing that you also mentioned, Estie, is the whole thing about being surrounded with people who are in the same environment or in the same situation. And I think that was one of the things that I have been in corporate for 20 years, like in my whole kind of since I grew up. That was what had always been, I've always been told. Well, my father was an entrepreneur, but I never wanted to become an entrepreneur. And so kind of once you decide to take that step, whatever step it might be, but in our case, since we talk about building an online business, is to make sure you are in the room of people who are in exactly the same situation, either a little bit before, a little bit behind you,
Mhm.
because you will learn so much from each other. And I think that is one of the key moments that I actually also experienced, and that kind of pushes you, it challenges you, and you will always have those people who question you, question your choices, question what it is that you're doing. um, and I think one of my fears, and I don't know if you had that, Esty, one of my fears, because I was so afraid of social media in general, also coming from banking, where we were told that we are not allowed to post anything at all on social media or we might get fired. So I was super afraid of social media. So that was one of the fears that I had to get over. Did you have the same or any similar fear that was felt a little bit like stronger than all the others?
Mm. I definitely think putting yourself out there, saying things, doing things that people judge. When you sort of in a clinician role, you sort of everyone look up at you. This is the way you have to behave. These are the things you have to say. These are the things that's not accepted. And all of a sudden, I have to start share my personal story. I mean, that was the biggest thing for me, saying what I'm thinking and what I'm feeling. I wasn't used to that. It was always about the patient and what they need and what they're feeling and what they're saying. And so putting myself there and starting to share personal things, I think that was the hardest thing for me. But I always say, even if you're fearful of what people are going to say, just go for it. Because you know why? People that are ahead of you will say, go for it. I want you to be as successful as I am. And people that are not there yet are going to say, wow, she was brave enough to stand up and do it. So don't be fearful. Just go for it.
I absolutely agree. And maybe also to those, because trolls are out there, right? So there are trolls there, but also remember that only those who are behind you or don't even dare to do what it is that you're doing or what it is that you're trying to do, they would never kind of like challenge you in that way or put you down in any way. Only those that are ahead of, or so only those that are behind you would actually do that. So when you think of or are afraid of what might people say or what might people do, remember that there are always people ahead of you who has gone through the same path that you're actually experiencing. So make sure you kind of tag along with those people and connect with those people instead. And it is so easy to connect with people here. I see even though we are live on more channels than LinkedIn, we currently, the people we have here are from LinkedIn, people that we are connected with, people that that support us and people that we support. And I think that is the coolest thing about LinkedIn, actually. So if we say we try to connect to tie it all together a little bit, because we talk about a little bit about the fears and the challenges. And if you're here and watching and you have any questions, make sure you add them in the comment, even if you're watching the replay of this, because then Estie and I can pick up on those questions afterwards, or your comments or thoughts or concerns, we can pick up on them afterwards. But if we kind of tie it all together, we spoke about taking small steps, we spoke about kind of like connecting with like-minded people. And I know you also have a concept where you talk about feed forward instead of feedback. Can you tell us a little bit about that, what that means to you?
So, I mean, feed forward is not a new concept. I managed to read in a book from Ulia Kut the other day. She mentioned it, and it started me thinking about that again. And I think the first time the person who mentioned it was Marshall Goldsmith back in the 1990s, and he wrote a whole lot of articles and books about it. And it's just suggesting that we focus on future improvement. There's this quote where he says that what got you here won't get you there. Right.
So
So we just have to forget about past failures and just focus on our future opportunities.
Yeah, and really the point when I've first heard what got you here won't get you there, I was thinking about my career within financial services, and I was like, well, everything went so smooth, it just took me from one step to the other, and just kind of like took me along. I never had a goal back then in my entire life. Today I know why, because I didn't want to be there in the first place, right? Then it's hard to set a goal, when you are in that HR situation where they ask you, where do you want to be in 5 years' time? And you're like, I don't even want to be here now, but you don't say that, right? So setting goals and really striving for what are the steps I need to take to get me closer. Like Monica said, like to do more lives and audio events. Okay, so what do I need to do that? What do I need to do in a live event? For me, it was to connect with other people that I could go live together with, because it's easier to do a live together with someone else where we can have like a discussion like you and I have now, or we can ask questions, or you can interview someone. So to say, this is my goal, what do I need to actually do that? So break them down into kind of like smaller bits and pieces. And what else can you say about kind of like from a brain perspective? You mentioned the oh, now I just lost it, but the freeze. What is it like? Freeze. I totally I'm totally blank now currently. Uh oh, maybe we can get back to that one. You
But
look like, yeah.
sorry, Josephine, I also lost you there now. But I think, talking about taking small, consistent actions, I think that's the most powerful thing that we can teach others to do. There's a Stanford study that says we are 42% more likely to achieve small steps. So if we just break them down and really not have a to-do list like this, but just have a huge goal, break them down into small steps, and then only focusing on one or two of those. We don't have to have 10 on our list, because we never get to it and we get overwhelmed with it anyway when we don't make it. And I think a big part of just embarking on this journey is overcoming that self-doubt. And a little thing that I often tell clients to do that they can do when self-doubt creeps in is, before you're in that stressful situation, just take 30 seconds and visualize a very positive experience, something that you experience with a family member, with a friend, with the kids. Just have that in your mind, visualize it. And before you get started, just press your thumb and your first finger together like this. Then do the visualization, think about it. And then, as you're about to walk into a stressful situation, all you need to do is that, because your brain knows this means positive, wonderful experiences that you've been visualizing. So immediately you have that influx, of feel good hormones. So that's a great little tip that we can use to overcome that self-doubt and feel positive before taking on a challenging situation.
Oh, I love that tip and trick. I will definitely do that the next time I have a little bit of a challenging situation. And I remember the first, or I've only read it once actually, the subtle art of not giving a fuck, the book, right? And and I was so disappointed because he was so against positive affirmations. And I just think that, I mean, but it's crystal clear that just standing in front of the mirror with a straight back and saying, I feel great, I feel fabulous, I feel fantastic, is so much more empowering than, like putting your body together and saying, oh, I feel like crap, right? I mean, it just tells itself, right? So having these types of little bit like tips and tricks and power poses and daring to do things, even when it feels challenging, that actually helps us grow.
It
So
does.
is there anything that you would like to add, um, Esty?
I think the main message here is just remember to shift your mindset from being fearful to being excited. Be open to learning new things, because when you're on the entrepreneurial journey, learning new things is at the very top. You have to be open and willing to learn whatever you need to do to be successful. Also, embrace your mistakes. We all make mistakes, but misbreak them, yes, embrace them. Opportunities to learn and to grow, and rewire your brain to build those neural pathways for confidence and success, because it is possible. And if you need a little bit help on how to rewire your brain, you're very welcome to join one of my workshops or events. It's where we learn fun things to be better.
Yeah, you have one coming up in now in end of November, or mid end of November in Zurich, and unfortunately I can't attend it because I have an event that I am speaking at then. But tell us a little bit about that event. And James here, we had Marco who gave us this perfect or this little sign, and we have James who says, so true, because the brain needs to be a sponge. But tell us a little bit more about your event, Esty.
So thanks, James. Thanks, Marco. Um, so we're having a fun event. It's a networking lunch, and we're doing a 90-minute workshop where we focus on female brainwaves and biochemicals. It's very exciting. We take 14 brainwaves and biochemicals, the combination of them, and see how we can leverage them to be more resilient and to perform at our best, and in the end helping us to stress less and achieve more. So it's a great workshop. We get together, we do some fun interactive stuff. We do a strengths map to identify your specific brain strengths, and it's very tailored to your needs and helping you grow. Then we do a nice lunch together because, as we said earlier, I do believe in collaboration and networking. You know, everyone comes to the table, say what they're good at, find ways to collaborate and support each other. And that is on the 21st of November in Zurich over lunchtime. And I also have a second one, which is a great event called the Resilient Female Leader with Ulia in Geneva. So whether you're in the German on the French side or even online, we're doing brainwaves and biochemicals online as well. We've got you covered no matter where you are or what your preferred style of learning is.
I love that. And I am a huge fan of online events and connecting with people online. We have the amazing opportunities across the world to do that. But I also believe in personal, kind of like face-to-face connection, and to really take those opportunities when we have them. So is there anything else that you would like to add, Estie? I think if you have been watching until now, maybe you want to go back and rewatch, because Estie has given you so many good tips and tricks, what you can take with you from this session. But is there anything in addition that you would like to add, Estie?
Josephine, thank you so much. I think if people just remember that, start today, do that first small action today. Don't wait for tomorrow, just get started. Be scared. It's okay to be scared, but also be excited and be open and be brave.
We are all scared. Not the whole time, luckily, but you know, when we do something for the very first time, it is scary. So I will host a LinkedIn Clarity Masterclass next week, and I will add the link. And Estie will also add the link to her event so that you can register for it or take it up. And I will add the event to my link. The link to my event underneath here too. And this is the fourth time, I think. This is the fourth time I'm running the same, or not the same, because that is the thing, right? It's the fourth time that I run a LinkedIn Clarity Masterclass, but I get better and better and better. And that's what the repetition actually does, right? And we'll learn so much every time we do something. And I just recorded a pre-training just before that I will share with those people that have registered so that they get to start working on it too, because I'm super excited about that event. And we have over 280 registered already. So it's going to be an amazing event. So I will add that link underneath here. It's for everyone who wants to take LinkedIn a little bit more seriously and don't really know what they're doing, or you might think you're doing what you should be doing, but it's not really working. So I would love to see you there too. And Estie, thank you so much for being here with me today. And I can't wait to actually meet you in person the next time you are in Zurich, so that we can actually, I would love to attend one of your events. So really looking forward to that. So thank you so much for being here today.
Thank you so much, Josephine. I'm looking forward to your LinkedIn Clarity Masterclass. I'll definitely be there with you. We can all learn a little bit more about LinkedIn. It's such a powerful tool if you know how to use it right.
Yeah, absolutely. So thank you all so much. And make sure you add any comments, any thoughts. And don't forget to connect with Estie or myself on LinkedIn. If you're here, if you're watching it on LinkedIn, if you're watching it on Facebook, connect with us there. If you're watching this on YouTube, then watch it there. So make sure you connect with us, and really looking forward to see you the next time. Thank you. Bye-bye.